Alright, man, with Halloween right around the corner, it's time to read some more Goosebump books. Since it's been about 3 years, I don't even remember what happened last time. Got Snake here, ready to party? You ready to party, kitty? Meow. Chapter 6, Pick Up Sticks. Check this out. It's gonna suck. I turned the knob and pushed, but the door refused to open. I tried again. It took me a while to realize that it was locked. Sweet. The library was closed. The rain pattered softly on the grass, and I walked around the front window. It was high off the ground. I had to pull myself up to the window ledge to look inside. Darkness. Total darkness. I felt relieved and disappointed at the same time. I wanted my skates, but I didn't really want to go back there. I'll get them tomorrow, I said out loud. I lowered myself to the ground. The rain was starting to come down harder, and the wind was picking up, blowing the rain in sheets. I started to run, my sneakers squishing over the wet grass. I ran all the way home. I was totally drenched by the time I made my way through the front door. My hair was matted down on my head. My t-shirt was soaked through. Mom! Dad! Are you home? I cried. I ran through the hallway, nearly slipped on the smooth floor, and I burst in the kitchen. A monster! I cried. Huh? Randy was seated at the kitchen table, snapping a big pile of string beans for Mom. He was the only one who looked up. Mom and Dad were standing at the counter, rolling little meatballs in their hands. They didn't even turn around. A monster! I screamed again. Where? Randy cried. Did you get caught in the rain? Mom asked. Don't you say hi? Dad asked. Do you just explode in a room yelling? Don't I get a hi? Or anything? Hi, Dad, I cried breathlessly. There's a monster in the library! Oh, man. Lucy, please. Mom started impatiently. What kind of monster? Randy asked. He had stopped snapping the ends off the beans and was staring hard at me. Mom finally turned around. You're soaked, she cried. You're dripping all over the floor. Get upstairs and change to dry clothes. Dad turned too, a frown on his face. Your mother just washed that floor, he muttered. I'm trying to tell you something, I shouted, raising my fist in the air. Scared the cat. No need to scream, Mom scolded. Get changed and tell us. But Mr. Mortman is a monster, I cried. Right, kitty? Can't you save the monster stuff till later? I just got home and I've got the worst headache, Dad complained. His eyes stared down at the kitchen floor. Small puddles were forming around me and on the white linoleum. I'm serious, I insisted. Mr. Mortman, he's really a monster. Randy laughed. He's funny looking. Randy, it's not nice to make fun of people's looks, Mom said crossly. She turned back to me. See what you're teaching your little brother? Can't you set a good example? But, Mom... Lucy, please get into dry clothes. Oh, that was Dad. Lucy, please get into dry clothes, Dad pleaded. Then come down and set the table, okay? I was so frustrated. I tilted my head back and let out an angry growl. Doesn't anyone here believe me? I cried. This really isn't the time for your monster stories, Mom said, turning back to her meatballs. Larry, you're making them too big, she scolded. They're supposed to be small and delicate. But I like big meatballs, Dad said. No one was paying attention to me. I turned and stomped angrily out of the kitchen. Mr. Morton really is a monster, Randy called after me. I don't know. I don't care anything about anything. I screamed back. I was just so angry and upset. They didn't have to ignore me like that. All they cared about was their stupid meatballs. Up in my room, I pulled off my wet clothes and tossed them on the floor. I changed into jeans and a tank top. Is Mr. Mortman really a monster? Randy's question repeated in my head. Did I imagine the whole thing? Do I just have monsters on the brain? It had been so dark and shadowy it had been so dark and shadowy in the library with all the lights off. Maybe Mr. Mortman didn't eat the flies. Maybe he pulled them out of a jar and just fed them to his pet turtles. Maybe I imagined that he ate them. Maybe his head didn't swell up like a balloon. Maybe I did get text messages in the middle. Guys, just hold on a second. Reading Goosebumps BRBs LOLs. Send. Oh, sorry. Mr. Mortman didn't eat the flies. Maybe he pulled them out of his jar and fed them to his turtles. Maybe his head didn't swell up like a balloon's. Maybe his eyes didn't pop out like a balloon's. Maybe that was just a trick of the darkness like a balloon's. The dancing shadows like the balloons. The dim gray lights like the balloons. Something like that. Maybe I need glasses. Maybe some friends probably too. Maybe I'm crazy and weird. Lucy, hurry down and set the table. My dad called up the stairs. Okay, coming. As I made my way down the stairs, I felt all mixed up. I didn't mention Mr. Mortman at dinner. Actually, Mom brought him up. What book did you choose to read this week? She asked. Frankenstein, I told her. Dad groaned. More monsters, he cried, shaking his head. Don't you ever get enough monsters? You see them wherever you go. Do you have to read about monsters too? You need to be quiet, dude. There's reading going on. Dad has a big, boomy voice. Everything about my dad is big. He looks very tough, with a broad chest and powerful-looking arms. When he shouts, the whole house shakes. Randy, you did a great job with the string beans. Oh, that was Mom. Randy, you did a great job with the string beans, Mom said, quickly changing the subject. After dinner, I helped Dad with the dishes. Then we went upstairs to my room to start reading Frankenstein's. I'd seen the old movie of Frankenstein's on TV, so I knew what it was about. It was about a scientist who builds a monster, and the monster comes to life. It sounded like my kind of story. I wondered if it was true. LOL. To my surprise, I found Randy in my room, sitting on my bed, waiting for me. Children's book. What do you want? I asked. I really don't like messing around in my room. I really don't like him messing around in my room. Ugh. I need to watch out what I say. Tell me about Mr. Mortman, he said. I could tell by his face that he was scared and excited at the same time. I sat down on the edge of the bed. I realized I was eager to tell someone that had happened in the library, so I told Randy the whole story, starting with how I had to go back there because I left my rollerblades. Randy was squeezing my pillow against his chest and breathing really hard, like a total ass. No, I'm just kidding. The story got him pretty scared, I guess. I was just finishing the part where Mr. Mortman stuffed a handful of flies in his mouth. Randy gasped. He looked sick. Lucy! My dad burst angrily in the room. What is your problem? Nothing, Dad. How many times do we have to tell you not to frighten Randy with your silly monster stories? Silly? I shrieked. But Dad, this one is true. He made a disgusted face and stood there glaring at me. I expected fire to come shooting out of his nostrils any minute. I'm not scared, really, Randy protested, coming to my defense, but my poor brother was as white as the pillow he was holding and trembling all over. This is your last warning, Dad yelled at me about. I mean it, Lucy. I'm really angry. He disappeared back downstairs. I stared at the door where he'd been standing. I'm really angry too, I thought. I'm really angry that no one in his family believes me that I'm being serious. I knew at the moment that I had no choice. I had to prove I wasn't a liar. I had to prove I wasn't crazy. I had to prove to Mom and Dad that Mr. Mortman was a monster. Maybe I'll do another one before 3 months. I don't know. Check it out. Water energy card. I gotta go do some more text messaging. Catch you later, fools. Sucking on the tools. Ah.